Hello, I'm going to show you how to make these little cute mini wreaths. You can use them for your Christmas tree or just glue them onto the Christmas cards. We're going to use a.k.a. yarn for this project and a 5mm crochet hook. So you'll be working with 2 strings of yarn held together. Make a slip knot and chain 12. Once you made your chain of 12, we're going to slip stitch into the first chain to make a circle, and then we will be working into the middle of this circle. So chain 1, which does not count a stitch, and then start making single crochet stitches into the circle. If you mark your first one, it's really easy to know afterwards when you got to the end of your circle. You will be making 24 single crochet stitches into this circle, and if you're working over your starting tail whilst doing this, you don't have to sew it in afterwards. You can just cut it off, because these single crochet stitches will keep it nice and secure inside your work. So keep working your single crochet stitches all the way around and keep counting until you get to 24. You may need to just move your work along a little bit to make some space for your stitches. Once you made your 24 stitches, you can just snip off the starter tails as long as you have been crocheting over them. And now we will slip stitch into the very first stitch where you left your stitch marker, just to finish off this round. Next round we will be making chain 2 and then skip 1 stitch and slip stitch into the next one, and this will be our round repeat. So you chain 2, skip a stitch and slip stitch, chain 2, skip 1 and slip stitch, and do this all the way around. You will end up with 12 tiny little loops around your wreath. So when you finished your last chain 2, slip stitch into the first stitch, and just make sure, count them, you need to have 12 little loops. And now you will start working into these loops. So into the first loop, single crochet, then make 3 half double crochet stitches, so that's, and 3, and another single crochet, all into the same space, and then exactly the same into the next chain 2 space, single crochet, half a double, another half a double, and the third one, and then a single crochet, and we'll repeat the same pattern all the way around until you get back to the beginning. So doing a single crochet, 3 half double crochets, and another single crochet stitch. When you get to the end, you'll slip stitch in between the first and the last stitch just to anchor everything down. And you can now fasten off your yarn, but leave a bit of a tail, because that tail we will be using for the hanging string later. To make the bow for your string, you will be using red and white yarn held together. Leave a little bit of a longer starting tail, what you would use normally, maybe about 20 centimeters, and make a slip knot. And we're going to make a chain of 24. Once you made your chain of 24, fasten off your yarn, and again leave a long end tail. The longer the tails are on both sides, the easier it is afterwards to tie your bow. And then finish this one off, and we will start feeding this string through the little loops at your wreath. So starting to where your hanging string is, go in from one loop and then out through the next one, and just keep feeding this through all the way around until you get back to the beginning of your work. Make sure you're happy with how your string is looking through your wreath. Secure two ends of the bow by making a double knot. And I find that if you turn your work upside down, it's a little bit easier to make your bow, because it will hang the right way around straight away. Because I made mine the same way that how I tie my shoelaces. So just make your tiny little bow how you would tie your shoelaces. Make sure you're happy with the length of the bow before you cut the end strings off. Just make another knot just to make sure it doesn't come loose. And get your scissors and trim the ends to how long you want them to be. And all we have left to do now is just finish off a hanging string. You'll make a knot to where you'd like your hanging string to finish, and cut off the extra yarn, and your little mini wreath is now done. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.